In this video, you'll learn how to create a well-formed XHTML document for the WizardWorks website. The WizardWorks website has been around for many years, and some of its code dates back to the earliest versions of HTML. The company uses XML documents to store and process customer information and orders. To integrate the website code with the company XML documents, you can modify the HTML code so it is written in XHTML and meets XHTML standards. This works.html file is part of the WizardWorks website and is more than 10 years old. You can start changing this document to XHTML format by adding an XML prologue, a statement that indicates the document follows the syntax rules of XML. Also add the meta element to specify that the content type uses the UTF-8 character set. Because this document is more than 10 years old, it may contain errors that violate XML rules. Rather than search for these errors manually, you can use an XML parser, a program that checks each document for errors in syntax and content and reports any errors it finds. Parsers can be standalone programs, or they can be built into a web browser. With a browser that contains a parser, the process works as follows. First, you write the code of an XML document. When you attempt to open the document in a browser that includes an XML parser, the parser checks for syntax errors in the document. If the document does not contain syntax errors, the parser passes it to the browser, which displays the content. An XML document that uses correct syntax is called a well-formed document. To be well-formed, XML and XHTML documents must follow 7 syntax rules. First, element names must be lowercase. For example, this code is not considered well-formed because the paragraph tags are in uppercase. To follow this syntax rule, you should change the tags to lowercase. Another syntax rule is that elements must be properly nested. This incorrect code does not follow the nesting rule, because the paragraph tags should be the outer tags and the bold tags should be the inner tags, as shown in the correct code. All elements must also be closed. For example, the first 2 paragraphs are missing their closing paragraph tags. Another rule is that empty elements must be terminated. Line break is an empty element, so it should include a slash to indicate it is a one-sided tag. Attribute names must also be lowercase. Here, a line is an attribute of the TD element, so it should be inserted using all lowercase letters, not all uppercase or mixed case. Another rule for attributes is that their values must be quoted. If you specify table width as 620 pixels, for example, insert 620 between quotation marks. Finally, attributes must have values. For example, selected is the attribute for this option property, so it should include a value such as selected. Failing to include a value for an attribute is called attribute minimization, which is a typical error in older HTML documents. In addition to these 7 rules, XML documents must include a single root element that contains all other elements. For XHTML, that root element is the HTML element. You can identify the syntax errors in works.html by submitting the document to the XML parser on the W3C website. As with HTML and XML, the W3C maintains the specifications and standards for XHTML. On the Validate by File Upload tab of the W3C Markup Validation Service webpage, click the Choose File button to select the works.html file, and then click the Check button. The validator reports a total of 8 errors. However, this doesn't mean that the document includes 8 separate mistakes. Often, fixing one mistake corrects others. To correct the errors in the document, scroll down to display the details. Fix the most obvious mistakes first. The items with the red icon are errors. The items with the blue icon are informational messages. These errors indicate that 2 IMG elements are missing end tags. Fix the syntax errors in the code by changing the IMG tags to one-sided tags. Save your changes, resubmit the document, and then check the new validation report. Now the document has 6 errors. This error often indicates that an element has not been nested correctly in a paragraph element. Another error indicates that the paragraph element is missing a closing tag. In this case, the same mistake caused both errors. Because the paragraph element is not closed, it looks like other elements are nested improperly inside of it. Add a closing paragraph tag to the 3 paragraph elements in the main section to correct this syntax error. Now, when you save the changes and resubmit the document, it passes the validation check and can be considered a well-formed document. Now you know how to follow XML syntax rules to create a well-formed XHTML document.